Hello, and thanks for joining us for our daily market coverage. Here are today's financial news presented by Centafex, your reliable partner in trading.
On Tuesday, Apple experienced a sharp decline, dropping by 5% to close at $172.42. The fall was largely driven by investor concerns over the U.S. administration's announcement of a 104% tariff on goods imported from China. In regular trading on Tuesday, the Dow Jones slipped 0.9%, the S&P 500 fell 1.6%, and the Nasdaq Composite plunged 2.2%. Equities had initially rallied on hopes for progress in global tariff negotiations, but reversed course after Trump confirmed the tariffs would proceed as planned. WTI crude oil futures traded below $57 per barrel on Wednesday, extending losses to a fifth consecutive session amid fears that U.S. tariffs might lead to a global recession and hurt demand. Since the beginning of April, WTI crude oil has shed around 20% of its value, pressured by a combination of weakening demand outlooks and rising production levels. The Japanese yen appreciated past 145 per dollar on Wednesday, rising for the second straight session, as the implementation of Trump's sweeping tariffs boosted demand for safer assets. Bitcoin dropped to around $75,000 due to heightened market fears following the U.S. administration's announcement of new tariffs, which disrupted global financial markets. Now let's review the major economic events of the day. At 5 a.m., Japan to release the Consumer Confidence Index for March, following 35 in February. At 12 p.m., the retail sales in Brazil are expected to increase, after reaching -0.1% in January. At 11 p.m., South Korea will release figures for the unemployment rate of March, following 2.7% in February. Tomorrow's major economic events. At 1:30 a.m., China to release the annual inflation rate for March, following -0.7% in February. At 12:30 p.m., the annual inflation rate in the U.S. is expected to decrease, after reaching 2.8% in February. At 12:30 p.m., the U.S. will release figures for the Consumer Price Index of March, following 319 in February.
And that's it for today's Market News Roundup, presented by Centafex. Thanks for joining us today, and be sure to tune in again tomorrow for more financial news.